Hi everyone, it's Neve here and welcome to the Scrap FX YouTube channel. Today we're going to be making a quick 12 by 12 layout using some of the new chipboard from the Scrap FX March release. This is a picture of my husband and I in Rotorua in the mud baths, and it was one of the first things I thought about when I got this chipboard piece that said Mud Monsters. You would think having a 3-year-old I would have lots of pictures of her playing in muddy puddles, but no, the only ones I've really got is me covered in mud, but it was such a fun day. So what I'm doing is putting together my layout. I have cheated slightly with this. I have already sort of planned out a bit of a layout in my head of what I was doing, and I've pre-prepared all my project life cards and run them through a Xyron machine so they're all sticky, which is why I'm busy peeling them up. I love sort of laying the cards out like this, but I really struggle with then adhering them and putting them back down because I always put them down in the wrong order. The title that I've just glued down is another project life card that I've just cut down. It was on that sort of brownie background, but I decided that I wanted it on the turquoise to kind of pick up some of the other colours that were around in the picture. And now I'm just sort of overlapping all the bits and pieces. So this is one of the new chevron stamps, and I'm just inking it up with some distress ink in walnut stone and going over my background and stamping. Now, any sensible person would possibly have done this beforehand. I'm not particularly sensible, but when I'd finished the layout, I just thought the background needed something to tie it all together. So I'm just going through, I'm using some project life cards that I'm not going to use and using those as a bit of a mask, just laying them over where I want to stamp so that I'm not stamping over the bits that I do actually want. And you can see from the foam stamp it absorbs a lot of the ink, so you can actually get 2 or 3 good stamps from them, second or third generation stamps, and still see the detail quite clearly. I also like when it sort of fades out because it gives you that sort of different effect. The background 12 by 12 page is one from Basic Grey that I've had in my stash for a long time, and it's I love those papers because they're kind of distressed, but you can do a lot to the front of them and make them look really, really interesting. So this is the Mud Monsters chipboard piece that I'm using, and again it's so versatile, you could use it in any different way, but I chose to use it on this layout. And I'm just using one of the paint pens to go in and colour it in, so just brown, and then using the turquoise that I've got in the background to again pick up those colours and tie them all together. I find the paint pens are really, really convenient when I'm colouring in the chipboard because you don't need to get your paint brushes out, you don't need to fiddle around trying to get something thin enough to get into the areas. The paint pens are really opaque and they go on really easily. You may find that the chipboard fluffs up or peels a little bit, but that happens very, very rarely, and it's only because I'm a bit impatient when it comes to my colouring in, and I actually scrub it a bit too hard to go across. So I'm just going back into some of the bits that weren't quite opaque enough for me and just adding a little bit more, and I'm also going back in with the brown pen just to tie it into the background a little bit more so it's not so turquoise, and trying that out. So I put it onto the page. Again, I'd run it through my Xyron machine, so it's already sticky. I find my Xyron machines really, really handy for doing pieces like this because it does immediately glue everything down. It means you don't need to worry about trying to cut out little bits or working with wet glue. Now, as I did this, I then go in and do my journaling on one of the project life cards. I had grand ambitions for doing project life and had a few packs of cards put aside. I've never really got round to doing it, but I do find that the cards are really great for background and doing sort of collaged backgrounds like this because there's lots of different interesting patterns and so on, and then a lot of the kits, they're all designed to play together. So I think this is a Kaisercraft kit from obviously a few years ago, and it sort of all just blends together and works really well. The other good thing about it is because it is designed for scrapbooking and journal keeping, it does have the journaling pages on it, which I really like because it just gives you an automatic place to start writing. Now, as I was doing this, I wasn't really concentrating, and I managed to make a mistake and write that Rotorua is in the South Island when it's not, it's in the North Island. If you've ever had an opportunity to go and travel there, it's an amazing place. We loved every minute of it, and we can't wait to go down and see the South Island of New Zealand, but we haven't quite got there yet. So as I was looking at this, I wasn't 100% happy with going back in with that brown just to highlight it. I wanted to put that turquoise back in again. So again, with my paint pens, I'm going in and repainting it. Now this is a different paint pen from, I think I was sent it in Happy Mail from Officeworks. It's one of their brand of ones, and it worked really, really well, except I did something stupid and the nib came out. I couldn't get it back in again, but by using a fine paintbrush I was able to actually get it in and get the ink out. The reason I wasn't using the colour I had before, the other colour turquoise was a little bit blue. This one's got a little bit more green in it and matches in with the colour of the background cards a little bit better. So I'm just going in, and by painting over the top, it means I can also make it a little bit more opaque and just add that little bit more paint to it so it stands out. So this is the end of my page. It was a really quick page to put together, and I really like how it came together, and I love the chipboard title. That sort of ties it all together. Thank you so much for watching, and please make sure you subscribe to our channel. Every Saturday there's a new video that goes up, and all the information will be in the description box below to go to the blog and find out what products were used on this page. Thanks for watching. Bye.